essentially, we're talking about the legal duty placed on employers when dealing with people who are defined as disabled, for instance. You could argue morally and from a management point of view, they're the right thing to do, but there is a legal duty if someone is defined as disabled. And that's a requirement to consider changes in the workplace or flexibilities that help the person with the disability perform their role effectively. Now, that sounds quite vague, and there is no fixed list as to what a reasonable adjustment is, what constitutes one, but it would depend on things such as how much the adjustment's likely to cost, how much the employee will benefit from it, how practical it is to implement that adjustment, but also whether making that adjustment might affect the employer's business or their financial situation. So a reasonable adjustment can involve anything, but what you need to focus on, I suppose, is the reasonable element of the adjustment. What counts as reasonable? It really does depend on the size and the resources available to the organization. So questions to contemplate might be, do they have the available resources in the organization? Do processes need changing, for instance, in how things are done at work? Does the workplace, the physical workplace itself, need adapting? Or you might need additional equipment. Those are things to explore with your employer. If the employer is of a size and has the resources available to make the necessary adjustments that have been identified either, say, by yourself or by your GP, a consultant, occupational health, for instance, if they have the resources available to make those adjustments, they would need to demonstrate what is called an objective justification as to why they cannot do so. And it has to be said that a common cause of disability discrimination claims at tribunals is failure to make reasonable adjustments. And that's either not realizing they were required or implementing the wrong ones, where they could have implemented an alternative, or even there are several cases, well, quite a few cases where people have identified the adjustments but just failed for whatever reason to implement them. That's a common cause of claims at a tribunal.